Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Warren Falk, the Camden County Prosecutor. With me this afternoon is Assistant Prosecutor Mark Chase, who heads our Special Prosecutions Unit, and also Sergeant Kevin Collegian, who is the Chief Investigator in the Special Prosecutions Unit. After a 2-month investigation, today the Camden County Prosecutor's Office charged 3 male teachers at Triton High School in Runnymede with engaging in inappropriate sexual conduct with 3 female students. These victims were seniors at Triton when the conduct occurred during the past school year. The teachers charged today are Jeff Lagondro, 32, of Blackwood, New Jersey, who is charged with official misconduct, criminal sexual contact, and endangering the welfare of a child. Lagondro's victim was 17 years old at the time these crimes occurred. Lagondro was a math teacher at Triton and also a girls' track coach. The second teacher charged is Dan Michelli, 27, also of Blackwood. He is charged with official misconduct, sexual assault, endangering the welfare of a child, and criminal sexual contact. Michelli's victim also was 17 when this conduct occurred. Michelli was a math teacher at Triton as well. The third teacher charged is Nick Martinelli, 28, of Cherry Hill, who has been charged only with official misconduct because his victim was 18 years of age when he engaged in the improper relations with her. Martinelli was a physical education teacher and boys soccer coach at Triton High School. Lagondro, Michelli, and Martinelli turned themselves in today, were processed. They had been suspended earlier during our investigation, sometime in early September, I believe, by the school district. Our investigation revealed that despite rules and regulations prohibiting it, the improper relationships between the teachers and students were fostered through social media as well as socializing in person outside the school. Indeed, we uncovered evidence of exchanges of sexually explicit text messages during instructional periods, and a trip to the shore involving the teachers and their victims as well as other students. Equally as disturbing and distressing as the charges against the teachers are, is evidence that the principal and vice principal at Triton High School, after learning of these improprieties, failed to report them to the proper authorities and conducted a half-hearted and inadequate inquiry aimed primarily at protecting the teachers and covering up their relationships with the students. Consequently, both the principal and the vice principal at Triton High School, the principal being Catherine DePaul, 55, of Woodbury, and the vice principal being Journey Pollock, 39, of Williamstown, have been charged with 1 count each of official misconduct. They've each also been charged with a disorderly persons offense for failure to report charges. DePaul and Pollock turned themselves in this morning to our investigators and have been suspended by the school district. I want to stress that these charges do not represent a failure of the system. The Black Horse Pike Regional School District has in place all of the necessary policies and specific regulations prohibiting all of the conduct that has been charged against these teachers. It also has in place the appropriate reporting requirements and disciplinary procedures for administrators to enforce the policies. Rather, these charges constitute individual and personal moral, ethical, and legal failures on the part of the charged teachers and administrators at Triton High School. It's obvious there existed a culture at Triton High School whereby teachers thought they could get away with improper relationships with their students and administrators turned a blind eye to evidence of these relationships' existence. We believe these charges and arrests today have taken a major step in eradicating that culture. However, our investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information relating to the conduct charged today should contact our office. Any questions?
Yes, can you tell us how this came to light?
It came to light this late summer when we were informed of the potential of this activity having gone on during the prior year, and we began an investigation of it.
But as student, who first reported it? It says in your release there was a substitute teacher and there was a student.
The substitute teacher initially reported it to the principal, and that's what the principal is charged with not going forward, making a half-hearted inquiry, and then not taking appropriate action and reporting it to authorities.
And when was that?
That was last April.
The principal admitted then to trying to protect these teachers?
In her statement, she indicated that she should have done more to protect the students and not as much to protect the teachers.
It was a student that came to the substitute, not one of the girls involved?
It was a student other than the 3 victims, yes.
Was it a student, though, Laurie, that contacted the prosecutor's office?
I'm not going to get into our source of information that led us to get involved in this investigation.
Did these teachers know one another, or were they friends?
Yes.
Did they all go on this trip together?
Yes. Well, not together, but in separate vehicles, but they all met up together at the shore.
Was it a school trip? You say that the 3 teachers engaged in sexual activity. Could you explain, does this mean physical activity, or was it just texting, or was it a combination of the two?
The charges stand as stated. We're not allowed to get into the specific evidence, and with these type of students, I will not get into that type of evidence of exactly what the unlawful sexual contact and other charges encompass.
Well, just legally, what does that cover? What does that charge cover in the scheme? I mean,
it covers unlawful sexual contact.
That can be sexual that can include sexual intercourse.
Under New Jersey law, there cannot be what commonly referred to as a rape charge for a student who consents over the age of 16. So, because of the ages of these students, certain charges could not be preferred, even though these teachers were in an authority position over the students.
So this trip to the shore, was it a school trip, or was this something they organized themselves?
No, it was I believe during the Easter Passover holidays.
But not, it was something they organized themselves.
It was not in. I stand corrected. Only one defendant was involved in that trip. There were a number of students, if I recall, but only one of the defendants was involved.
So say which one?
No, I can't.
Do you have any information that any sexual relations happened on a high school senior trip to Disney World?
I'm not going to get into the details.
Wait, I'm sorry, could you clarify just what happened? So not the 3 girls and the 3 teachers didn't all meet up at the shore. It was just one student and one?
It was one student, it was one teacher and a number of students.
One of whom was a victim?
One of whom was a victim, yes.
Okay.
Maybe even more than one of whom.
But this was not a school trip. This was something he just decided to take a bunch of students to the shore?
This occurred over the holidays. It was outside of the school parameters.
And I'm sorry, which teacher?
I'm not going to get into that.
But did they meet there, or did he take them?
There was I believe 2 students who traveled in the teacher's private vehicle.
And what beach did they go to? Where?
Yeah, Ocean City.
But can you tell us which one of the teachers?
No.
Is that Ocean City, New Jersey?
Ocean City, New Jersey, yes.
Was there any evidence that there was a sharing among these teachers of this illicit conduct that was going on individually?
You mean with respect to victims?
The 3 teachers, did they all kind of know what the other person was involved with?
They may have.
Triple dates and such? They all hung out together?
I'm not going to get into the details.
When did the girls graduate?
In June.
You had mentioned that you're trying to send a message I guess, to other teachers in different schools. What is that message, and what do you want them to know about what your office, the position your office is taking about this?
There has to be a professional teacher-student relationship, and there has to be a separation between the teachers and the students. I recall, unfortunately many years ago, being trained as an Army officer, and it was called friendly but not familiar, and that has to be the mantra of teachers. They can certainly socialize with their students in a school setting, but outside of a school setting, they are not permitted to do so. That's what the regulations of the schools, and I believe virtually every school district in the state of New Jersey has those same regulations. And it also prohibits them socializing via social media.
If
Could you-
found
I'm
guilty,
sorry.
what would the penalties be?
These crimes, the official misconduct is a second-degree crime which carries with it a maximum, I believe, 10-year penalty. The same way with the criminal, with the endangering the welfare of a child. The criminal sexual contact is a fourth-degree crime, maximum 18 months. The sexual assault is a second-degree crime, again, 10-year penalty.
You mentioned in your prepared remarks that there appeared to be a, I'm forgetting the exact word you used.
Culture?
A culture of, correct, thank you, of that allowed this type of behavior to take place. As part of your ongoing investigation, is there a possibility that there could be other elements to this culture that have yet to come forward?
That's why I said at the end that our investigation is ongoing, and that anyone that has information should contact the Camden County Prosecutor's Office.
Is there any evidence that any sex took place during the trip to Ocean City or at school?
I'm not getting into the details of the contacts between the teachers and their victims.
I know
Was
you said
principal contact the teachers union, and was the Board of Ed notified, or the superintendent?
The superintendent of the school district was notified that the teacher had improperly transported a student in his private vehicle in violation of the regulations, and that there was going to be a letter of reprimand or something of that nature. That is the extent of the information, I believe, that was sent to the superintendent.
When was he notified?
He was notified at the time that occurred, last April or May during the school year, and I believe that at that point the superintendent had no information that this thing was as entrenched as it turned out to be.
I know
I
you
mean,
said the
sure, this is
relationships
clear,
happened
though. I just
last
wanna
year.
make
How
sure that
long
this
were
is-
the individual relationships? Do you have any idea?
Not individually, but our investigation covered a period from November of 2011 through the end of the school year in 2012.
Can you say whether all three began in November?
No, I can't.
Can we make it clear though, Warren, that the superintendent, the people at the administration level, above the principal, had no idea of the alleged sexual activity going on at any time until you guys got word of it?
We have no evidence that they had any information. In fact, our evidence indicates that the information that was given to them was filtered.
Can you comment, have you ever seen a case of this nature, this extensive?
No, and that's what's disturbing. We have seen, and there's been publicity around the country of teachers, particularly I think the news media likes the female teacher having been involved in a relationship with a male student. But this is the first time that I'm aware of that we have 3 different teachers with 3 different students, all in the same school year, and the student victims were friendly with each other, and the teachers were friendly with each other.
Do you believe they all knew what was going on? Like each teacher knew the other teacher was having a relationship with a student?
I'm not going to get into that.
What was the relationship between the principal and the teachers that she felt the need to protect them?
I wish I knew.
And when exactly were all these the teachers and the administrators suspended?
The teachers, I believe 2 were suspended maybe right before school started. A third one was suspended in the first couple weeks of September, and the administrators were suspended yesterday.
And who suspended all of them?
The teachers were suspended, I believe. Well, the suspension comes from the school district itself, but I believe that the principal suspended those 3 teachers, and yesterday the superintendent suspended the principal and vice principal.
You mentioned that the investigation is ongoing. Are you still looking at these 3 teachers and the possibility that there were more student victims amongst these 3?
We don't know if there are, but certainly if anyone comes forward, there are 15 or 1,600 students at Triton High School, and so that is one of the reasons that we put out this kind of information in these kind of cases, be it child abuse or this kind of a case, because often then victims feel empowered to come forward.
Why didn't the school say anything to the parents?
I don't understand your question.
Did the school notify the parents about the inappropriate relationships that the teachers were having with their children?
We notified the parents. The school, I believe, notified a parent with respect to the issue of the students being driven in a private passenger vehicle.
Were any of the parents aware that there was a sexual relationship?
I'm not going to get into that.
You mentioned social networking was a part of this. Is this Facebook or what?
It's principally texting. But under the regulations, as I understand them from the school district, that you should not be friending each other on Facebook if you're a teacher and a student. The only relationship should be professional relationships in connection with school and school activities.
Just want to make clear, to follow up on his question. The prosecutor's office informed the parents at the school of what was going on in the school?
No, we informed the parents of the victims.
Of the victims. Okay.
With regard to the social media situation, they could make an argument, I would think, that texting these days is like talking or, making a phone call or something. Does this bring this whole teacher-student relationship situation into a different arena or a different spotlight with the texting and the social media stuff, if they were communicating, maybe sending Facebook messages or whatever?
Well, if the regulations of the school district say that there should be no fraternizing or socializing outside of school grounds and school activities, then there's no reason to be texting between teachers and students outside of school hours. And I understand there's also a prohibition against texting within school hours on the part of the teachers. They are supposed to use a free time or free period to make a phone call or text or whatever, email, except in an emergency situation.
Can you spell out if there was any other social media contact besides the texting? Were there Facebook messages being sent or something like that?
We're still looking into aspects of that.
Are the suspects in custody of the prosecutor or the county right now?
The suspects all voluntarily turned themselves in this morning, were processed at Gloucester Township Police Department, and have been released on their own recognizance.
Do they have to appear in court? Like, what will the process be?
There will be initial appearance, about 2 weeks down the road? Yeah, on the 13th of October.
Any additional info about how the teachers and students initially got so chummy?
Not that I'm going to share with you.
Were any of the students in any of the teachers' classes last school year and or on any of the teams with it?
I believe that at least one of the students was at one time during her 3 or 4 years at Triton High School one of the victims was in her accused class. That's I believe that is.
How about the sports teams? The sports teams, any of the victims on the sports teams?
Not that I'm aware of.
You said that the school notified the superintendent of the improper ride to the shore. Who sent that?
That was the principal.
Okay. But she didn't give any other indication of anything else that was going on?
She didn't give any indication to the superintendent's office that there was anything other than a possible violation of that regulation.
At the time, was she aware of the other things going on?
We believe she was, yes. That's why she's charged with official misconduct.
You mentioned earlier about this culture that you believe exists in the school. Is there a concern on your part that there might be other teachers who might be part of that at this point, or do you think it's confined to the three?
We hope it's confined to 3 teachers at this point, yes.
Will the principal and vice principal have to appear in court also?
They all have an initial appearance on the...
Everybody?
On the 13th? On the 13th, yes.
So after the superintendent was notified by the principal, did the superintendent notify the Board of Education?
I don't believe so. This would be a minor infraction on the part of a teacher.
When parents hear about something like this, at other students at other schools, I mean to say, the natural reaction is for there to be concern about something similar like this happening at other schools. Have you provided guidance or instruction or warnings to other schools in other districts about what to keep an eye out for, things along those lines? As
I said to you, the system did not fail. There are the rules and regulations. There are training, as I understand it, in-service type of training with regard to these sorts of things. This was just a failure to enforce the rules and regulations, and as I said, moral and ethical and legal failures on the part of the individuals.
How long have these teachers been at the school?
I can't tell you. I believe the principal, though, has been there probably about 25 years.
Do you know if the principal contacted the teachers union?
I don't know. I don't even know if she's a member. A principal is a member of the teachers union.
What's the vice principal's role there? We've heard a little about how somebody came to the principal.
The the student who was interviewed gave certain information and then was asked to prepare a written statement. And the vice principal assisted this student in preparing a written statement. We believe she assisted her in watering down and misleading exactly what they were told, and I might say also corrected the English.
And what? What did you say?
Corrected the English.
Oh.
When did the student go to the principal and then consult with the vice principal?
I believe that all occurred in April.
Did the initial information that your office received implicate all 3 teachers, or did you begin with an investigation on one and it kind of snowballed from there, if you will?
I'm not going to do that. Any other questions? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, if you can log in the car and start to get sense of it,
I didn't say. That's one of those questions.